Yo, welcome back to the best show in Atlanta. I'm your host, Nigel Armani. Listen, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the best show in Atlanta. Also, if you can, go on the website at unspokenatlanta.com and get your merch, man. We got different colorways on the hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts, all type of stuff on there, man. So if you can support, man, go to unspokenatlanta.com, check out the Unspoken Atlanta collection, and get your merch today. Enjoy the show.
So when you're in business, you have to build, you get to build a business around what peace looks like, right? And so if you have a business model that works for your life, like, okay, at 35,000, if you only need to make $100,000, you get 3 clients for the year. You can serve the hell out of 3 clients versus charging $1,000, and now you need 1,000 clients, right, to make that same 100,000. So you have to decide at what level you want to serve and then charge accordingly.
Hey, Nigel. Did too hard, bruh.
Super honored, man. Shout out Nigel. Shout out everybody here. Shout out Unspoken. We in the A.
Shout out to my boy G. That's what we drinking on, G Doritos. Make sure y'all get y'all some G Doritos, man. Hit my boy up. For real. Welcome back to another episode of the Unspoken Atlanta podcast. I'm your host, Nigel Armani, and today we have a very, very special guest, Miss Shaniqua Nicole. She is part of All Things Wealth,
Yes,
taxes. What else? She has a magazine called Black Wealth Magazine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for pulling up. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you.
Yeah, we normally start off with a temp chat, ask how everybody feeling, how
Okay.
they week been going.
Yeah,
all
man. The week has been crazy. Even just the weekend, there were about 5 events.
Mm-hmm.
So, feeling blessed.
Yeah,
Blessed and highly favored.
One of the events you went to, we could talk about it a little bit. You did a paid in full event yesterday. How
Yes,
was
yes. So we had a paid in full mastermind. Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
that? Yeah.
Like, it was so crazy. 40, 50. We had 60 people. So it was my brother, Michelle Valburn. Shout out to Michelle Valburn. He's a CPA, Money Making Mitch, which is what we call him.
Mm-hmm.
And this was his 5th year doing this mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
Started 5 years ago, so 2020. And I think he might have had like 10 speakers. And at that time, he had some amazing speakers, Myron Golden, Marvin Mitchell, so some super dope people. And this year, there were like 50 millionaires.
50 million.
50 Black millionaires that got on the stage to teach, to talk, and to pour into the people. And it was so dope. It was just like a family reunion, all good vibes. Just reconnecting with everybody. It feels good. I was telling a friend today, like, being in those environments is like, to me, I feel like it's like when a puppy goes to the park and run around with other dogs. You know what I'm saying? It just be happy
Feel like you're home.
in its environment.
Yeah.
You get out, get that energy out, you get some energy in. It was really good. What we were able to give and receive from that event. So super dope.
Well, that's dope. That's always good to hear. I think I've met you a few events, Invest Festival. I met you at
Yes.
Podcast Summit, a couple of other events with David Shan. So I kind of see like the same people everywhere I go. So it's good to be able to see people doing good, being able to teach. That's something that I want to do as well. But being in a position so I can be able to talk and teach, whether it's through podcasting or just my trials and tribulations life.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting yourself in position.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate that. Thank you. So
Yes,
much.
you got the content going. Let me tell you, this half the battle.
Yeah, no,
This the part I don't
this
even
is
like
it.
to do.
This is what I like, man. It's crazy. I've been doing it since 2019, just thinking about like I'm happy that I've learned a lot, especially I think my journey, me being able to learn how to edit myself. That's one part of it. Like we were talking about getting the equipment, being able to build something as much as big as this studio, and building the team.
Yeah.
It's been a long time doing it, so it's just been all this stuff. It's adding up. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
And putting yourself in position to, I feel like podcast is the cheat code,
Yeah,
right? Because I've been in high level mentorships and they cost a lot of money,
yeah.
but you can literally get somebody to sit down
Talk
and,
to you.
and spill the whole game.
It's crazy. That's kind of what this is kind of built into. Like when I was saying when we first got here, like I started off and just talking about relationship talks with friends, and having cast members coming on. But then once I came over here, because I didn't really want to start a podcast at first.
Okay.
Not to say I didn't like them. It was just that I just feel like everybody was doing them, and so
Yeah.
I think that's why I wanted to do something different. But coming over here and starting this new journey is kind of like has helped me because now it's like I'm thinking about anything I want to learn about. I just invite a specialist in that area, and I just
Exactly.
turn the content like that.
Yeah.
And I think it didn't. I'm learning something, but then I'm also like giving somebody a platform to be able to showcase what
Absolutely.
they got going on. So I think it kind of helps each other out.
For sure. So
Long way.
that's exactly the reason I started my podcast,
Yeah.
right? Because I've been in Atlanta for 11 years now. And like I said, have just been blessed to be able to meet some super dope people, super crazy entrepreneurs, and like, we've all just grown so much. And I'm like, somebody got to be documenting this.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, they had Freaknik
Yeah.
rappers and all that. And there were people that had to document that in order for it to be a part of our history.
Mm-hmm.
So that's literally what made me start my podcast and magazine, which is called Black Wealth Weekly,
Mm-hmm.
by the way. But yeah, it's like, and I'm just a naturally super curious person, and I love business.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, exposure is everything, right? Once
Yeah.
you're exposed to something, you can't be unexposed.
All right.
So, if I can offer people, I think it's almost like I take it as like my duty and my community service. Like, I have to get this information out to the people. This is what I'm leaving behind,
Yeah.
right? This is my legacy. Because while, yeah, I can sit and talk about this stuff, but let's just bring the experts. So that way I
Yeah.
can ask them 100 questions, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious like a child. So like so many thoughts come when I interview my guests. So yeah, it's a great way to get in front of thousands and
Other
thousands of people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can talk about that. I wanted to ask you what got you into like becoming a tax strategist even before you started doing your pod and doing
Yeah.
doing the weekly
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yep. So I've been in financial services pretty much my whole career.
Mm.
I was the kid that I'll say I've been in business since I was like 6.
Mm.
I was the kid that was selling candy at school.
Mm.
My parents were very entrepreneurial. My mom worked. Both of my parents worked, but my parents were very entrepreneurial, and they had side hustles, right?
Mhm.
So I always grew up seeing them hustle and just having a lot of money around. So I was always kind of just like the kid with money or a lot of money, right? Like at the school, we'll go to the corner store. I have money. Like I'm buying everybody
Cash,
snacks.
yeah, a lot of
So
cash.
my dad had a car wash and a laundromat, and so I would help my grandma roll quarters.
Mm.
And so I ain't had to steal the quarters, but
Yeah.
I always had my little my little coin purse. So money was just something that was always around, I would say, and so I was just always very comfortable around money. And really, when I was a kid, I would say what was I in, like kindergarten, I think. My uncle actually got shot, and it sent me into shock. And so I had to go to the hospital. So I'm in the hospital as a kid. I think I'm like 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that. But I wasn't sick. You know what I'm saying? I just had like an asthma attack, and I saw him. I saw him actually get shot.
Stress level.
Yeah, so it sent me, I had like a trauma response to that. And so I went to the hospital, and so and I was able to like help the nurses with the other patients and like care for other kids that were in the pediatric center. And so growing up, I always thought that I was going to be a medical doctor.
Mm.
I really wanted to be a doctor from that experience, because it was just it was so good to care for these people and these kids. So I wanted to be a pediatrician growing up. I really thought that I was going to go into medicine, and then something in my brain said, girl, you don't want to go to school for no 10 years, and you're not going to get married until you're 30, and you're not, like something in my brain said you don't want to do all that work, right?
Right.
And also, I didn't know anybody that was a doctor.
Mhm.
So, I just had to go off of what I seen, which is like these older white women who are old, and they, white women don't have children until they're older, and that just wasn't what I desired. And I also didn't have anybody that was like, no, you should do it.
Mhm.
You should go and be a doctor. So to be quite honest, I took the easy route, which was business. So, business was always easy for me. It always came easy. I was always kind of entrepreneurial minded. So I went to school for business, and then I started working on Wall Street when I was 19,
Mm.
and did my taxes. My first year I did my taxes. I didn't know who I was going to, right? I'm like everybody else. And so I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, by the way. Shout out. Trenton makes the world
Jersey.
takes. But went to get my taxes done one year. I was in college and had my job working on Wall Street, and went just across the street to H&R Block, because that was in my neighborhood. They charged me like $600 to do my taxes. And it's just me. I didn't have any kids. I'm like, well, I'm paying all this money to go to college. I think I can do this
Do it
myself.
yourself, yeah.
So that's really what kind of sparked the idea of me starting my tax business.
Well, after you started doing taxes, I'm pretty sure you started doing it for other people as well.
Oh, yeah.
What was your process on, first learning it and then realizing I can do this for other people?
You know what? I say that it was really nothing but God, and so I really always try to lean into my intuition and what God tells me and shows me. Because that year I said I wanted to learn taxes and start a tax business, so I started to research it. I get online trying to figure it out, and then my aunt had moved from Texas back to New Jersey, and she had a tax business in Texas. I had no idea that she had a tax business, but we were both at my grandmother's house one day, and I was just, we were just catching up, and I'm like, yeah, so I've been thinking about doing taxes. I've been thinking about learning. She's like, oh, well, I'm moving back to Jersey, and I'm going to open up an office here. I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, perfect. Well, I'll help you. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
need to start my own business. I'll just help you. And mind you, this wasn't my first business. I was only 19 at the time, but I used to be a party promoter, host parties, for as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I was hosting parties. Me and my best friend, he was a DJ. So we was like, we was cool kids in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were always bringing people together. So people always respected and kind of looked up to me. So it was really natural that I started this,
Yeah.
started this business. So I helped my aunt open her business that first year. The next year I went out on my own, and then I just continued to grow and grow. And she tells me to this day, like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you passed me a long time ago, and I'm so proud of you.
Mm-hmm. So
Hmm.
when you started doing other people, because well, for one, you was doing this in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and well, what made you move to Atlanta?
What made me move to
Yeah.
Atlanta? When I got pregnant, I moved to
Oh,
Atlanta.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can kind of take you through that process. So really, when I first started the tax business, most of my clients were like my colleagues, like I said, people that know, like, and trust you,
Right.
right?
Right.
So maybe some family, but not grown people, right?
Yeah.
Like my aunts and stuff, they wouldn't let me do their
Yeah.
taxes. I was
Yeah.
19 years
You,
old.
you ain't there yet.
No.
Right.
So, it was like my friends, my family, my friends, my cousins, perhaps, my colleagues. I was working on Wall Street. So I started working at Merrill Lynch. That was kind of like my first big professional job after I worked at Wachovia. Um, and yeah, so most of my clients first came from friends. Other young professionals that were working jobs. And then I also was in the music space. So like my friends, my ex, he was an artist. And so I had like a lot of artists. And so I went actually and opened up an office in this building that was like just full of artists, full of like
Mm-hmm.
rappers and painters, and they had studios and
Just started
photographers.
doing them.
That's what.
Just started doing them.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
so that's why I started just in my natural market,
Yeah.
right? So they were my natural market. I knew a little something. Y'all are actually business owners. Let me show you how you can get this money back that you've been paying all year on your taxes. Let me show you how you can actually get this money back, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was helping people that normally, we're young, no kids, so they wasn't really getting a refund back. So yeah, I provided a service, and started doing good business, and it kind of just grew from there.
What's one of the biggest myths against wealth in the black community? Your
One of the
opinion?
biggest myths. I think in the black community, we are so big on instant gratification,
Mm.
and because of that, we think that we gotta just get rich quick. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta find something and make a whole lot of money real quick. After working on Wall Street for 10 years, I used to manage institutional retirement funds for like the biggest companies in the world. So this like Walmart, these are, Home Depot. I saw 6 and 7 figure retirement accounts of people that work regular jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So what I realized was that wealth is not something that has to be built instantly.
Instantly.
And because we don't have that lineage of people teaching us, right? Most of our parents are probably first generation, or we're first generation. I'm first generation college graduate, I'm first generation all the things. So I think that the biggest myth is that it has to happen quickly.
Mm.
What I saw was that wealth is the little things that you do consistently over time, that builds up, and then you learn the strategy, you get access to resources and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
all right, bye.
That's what she wants.
Bye. I gotta make another one tonight. Hell yeah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Another characteristic about you is this probably wouldn't be a characteristic everybody noticed, but I love how nervous I make you.
And the fact that she know that is crazy though.
Yeah.
She know that though.
I love that.
This damn dating, social media world, dating app world, they're trying to make that reality like that. Shout out to the Balloon Pop Show, it's a cool show. But the concept of it shows you that they're trying to take online dating and make that reality. Popping the balloon is no different than swiping.
Important too. Like you're completely detached from the situation. You want them to move on.
Hey man, welcome to the best show in Atlanta.
How did you get in Wall Street, or how did somebody else get in there?
Wall Street. So how I got in, honestly, it was one of my aunts. Listen,
Okay.
the queen, the queen's
Yeah,
been blessing
the
me my whole
woman, yeah.
life. Yes, queen. The family is important. Relationships are important. I'll say that,
Yeah.
right? Relationships are everything. So I started working on Wall Street when I was 19, and I really didn't want to because I was trying to go to college. I wanted to go away to college. But because I got that job, I ended up, just staying. My manager was super cool, young white guy. He really liked me. And, the first thing that he taught me was never live paycheck to paycheck. And so he was really instrumental in me even wanting to stay because he's like, listen, when you go ahead and go to school, I was working from home one day a week back then, so this is almost 20 years ago now. So I was working from home one day a week. But I got the job. I started off working in like the mail center. So it wasn't something cute. But for me, it was just like a summer job because I was in between college. I was going to go away to college. But then my manager wanted to hire me on permanently. And he's like, I'm going to give you this kind of role. I'll let you work 4 days a week. You work 1 day from home. And so, I was able to do all the things. But yeah, I started off in a temp agency. And then I got hired on permanently. And yeah, it grew from there.
Yeah. Well, if you should suggest that to somebody else that was thinking about trying to get on Wall Street, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to have the access and see, right? Because, one thing that I do feel like I learned, I learned really on how to look at money just subjectively. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm literally moving millions of dollars every day in and out of these retirement accounts, balancing the stock plans. And, for me, money was just a number. It was just a decimal. But the attention to detail that I needed to learn, the discipline that I learned from, being on time, learning how to talk to people in different environments. Mind you, I'm 19 years old. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, and my name is Shaniqua.
Right.
So you can imagine being in an environment, you know what I'm saying? Being in an environment like that, the way that people would look at me, right? And so as I was trying to develop professionally and seek mentors, most of the people were like white women or white men. And to be honest, I feel like the white women treated me like I was a charity case, But I would say that, this in this day and age, you have more access to people that are willing to mentor, more access to people that look like you and will mentor you and show you the way and give you the steps. But if you want to, you want to work on Wall Street, you want to work a job, listen, my job was my first investor.
Yeah.
Okay. If I didn't work the job and build my business, I wouldn't have made six figures until who knows when. You know what I'm saying? Like white kids come out of college and they make six figures on their first job.
Yeah.
But my first job, I might have been making like 40,000. I think, how much was I making? I remember I was 19 and I think I was making like $30 an hour, $27 an hour, something like that. And my grandmother told me back in their day that she was happy if she made her age per year. And I'm sitting here like, I'm complaining. I'm making $27 an hour and I'm 19 complaining about my $27 an hour. I'm saying like, this ain't enough. But back in their day, they were making their age a year. So yeah, I would definitely say go and get the experience because it did teach me operations. It taught me, it changed my mindset on money. And it makes you do more, right? Because if you have a job and you have a side hustle, you have no choice but to get better quicker. And in this day and age with AI and all that kind of stuff, we got to get better quicker.
And we got to get better at AI too.
Oh yeah.
Another thing. We talking about common mistakes. When people starting their wealth journey, what are some of the common mistakes people make when they trying to start that?
Yeah, people think that you got to have a lot.
Yeah.
You don't. Like you literally can save $50 a week, $50 a paycheck. I'll tell you a story. When I first started working on Wall Street, I started my retirement account. But I'm 19 years old. Like I'm not really thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
But my retirement account was able to help me move into my next level when I left. Right. So I was working there I worked at Merrill, I think for 6 years. And I started off putting in I started off maybe like putting in 10% of my paycheck and then increased it to 20%. So for anybody that's working a job, I would say, build in those goals and do it automatically. Right. Because if the money is already coming out of your paycheck, then you don't miss it. I think that when people go to work, they start or when they get like when they get a raise, they get an increase, you want to increase your lifestyle. No, increase your investments first.
Yeah.
Right? Because then when you leave the job, which is what happened with me when I left my job, I had like 30,000 in the bank. I had 30,000 in my retirement account. So now I'm in position where I can go and buy a house or start a business or pay off debt, right? Whatever it is. So I think, we just have to understand that your humble beginnings can turn, your humble beginnings are your farming seasons, right? That's when you're planting the seeds. But at some point, it will harvest.
You have children, and for people not even younger, but like teenagers who like really starting to start making money and start becoming familiar with financial literacy. In your opinion, how do we get them to start engaging into that early?
Well, I think it's our responsibility, number one.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, that's why I have a nonprofit. A lot of people don't know about this because I haven't really had the opportunity to focus on it, but I have a nonprofit called $1 Million Scholar. And so I think it is important for us to pour back, pour into kids. And so a couple things that I do. Number one is yesterday at the event, I had my son at the event. He normally comes to Invest Fest with me, but he had football. So he didn't come. But he wrote a book when he was 6 years old. So this is his book actually right here. Should I grab it?
You grab it.
All right, let me grab it. So he wrote this book when he was 6 years old. So I will say, I think that we just need to trust children's genius, right? Because we think that kids are just kids, but really kids are vessels and they don't have the trauma that we have, right? They haven't experienced failure. They haven't, their mindset is nothing but abundance. So we have to, number one, give them the tools. Right. Let them know that there are opportunities. So for me, I've taught my son how to invest in the stock market. And I was joking yesterday because as he was selling his book, right? So whenever he's out with me at these events, I'm like, nope, you're going to bring your books and you're going to sell them. He didn't want to do it. Made $300 yesterday. And now he want to go to Dick's and ball out in Dick's today, right? Because he plays sports. Yeah. So I let him do
spending money.
Right. So I let him do a little bit of what he wants to do, but it's like, okay, in order to do what you want to do, this is what you got to do. So I gave him a vehicle so that he can earn his own money. And then I also teach him. So his first big purchase that he wanted to make was PlayStation. So he wanted the PlayStation 5. And I'm like, okay, cool. We can get the PlayStation 5, but you also need to buy stock in the company. Right. So, and he was younger, this was a couple years ago. So he's like, stock, but this is what this book is all about. It's called ABCs for Rich Kids. So I teach him different financial concepts and terms, but A is for assets, B is for business, C is for cash flow, D is for dividends, E is for evaluation, F is for future value. So I plant these seeds in his mind. Like, you might not get it now, but when it's time, you will get it. And, to my surprise, when I said, I asked him, I said, well, you want to buy a PlayStation? What else you got to do? He's like, oh, I got to buy the stock. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's figure out how much this stock costs. Because if you're going to spend $1,000 on this on this PlayStation, you need to be able to spend $1,000 in stock. Yeah. And so, I'm just giving him little tidbits like this, you know what I'm saying, that I hope continues to grow his curiosity. But actually with $1 Million Scholar, we're launching in Fulton County schools and to teach kids economics, financial literacy, stock market, and entrepreneurship. So, for me, it's like each one teach some. Yeah. And that's my goal. So my goal is I'll actually be going to Clark Atlanta this week to potentially get some interns. I'm going to train them on the curriculum so that they can go out and train the students in the schools.
That's what's up. What are some financial pitfalls that new entrepreneurs should watch out for?
Financial pitfalls. Well, I think number one, we got to get control of our personal finances. Because you never know when that thing is just going to pop for you. And in a day of, like we said, AI, the day of social media, and the days of like virality, you can literally pop in a day. But if you don't have your back in it together, what you gonna do? So it's like whether you're a mom and pop shop that's selling lip gloss, if you go viral one day and now you got 5,000 orders to ship, so I would say, first start off by learning to manage your personal finance, learning what a budget looks like, learning what your cost of operation look like, because what happens is people will run into a lot of money and run out of it real quick. And then at the end of the year, they like, yo, I thought I made $1 million. What do I have? Or I thought I made $100,000. What do I have? Have nothing to show for it, but a tax bill for 20% because you done made the money. So understand.
And you got to pay it back.
And you got to pay it back. So understand financial literacy, get some operations in place, and reach out to people that can help you avoid some of those pitfalls.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think, and I agree with you. I think that majority of the time, like when we're growing into our own business, I always been taught that, like you said, when you do have your moment, when you do go viral, you need to be able to take advantage of that moment.
Yeah.
Whether it's uh having digital products or having things for sale, so that when you do have that moment, the people can still have some place to come shop with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, where you can get their information so that when
Mhm.
you're ready to drop something,
Mhm.
they're there for you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
otherwise, you just lose out on the opportunity.
That's something I kind of like think about when I first started, like starting the email list. I kind of didn't get to that until like 2 or 3 years into it. But yeah, that kind of saves you a lot, because like you said, it's not even just about selling stuff, but like announcements, newsletters,
Yeah. Listen, the number
things like
one
that.
the number one customer is a returning customer.
Yeah,
Your best customer is a returning one. That's
for
the
sure.
easiest one to get. If somebody spend money with you once, they'll do it
They'll
again.
do it again.
So
Yeah.
you definitely want to gather information, have a place for people to gather at the very least.
In your opinion, how has technology changed when it comes to like wealth building? If they even
Mm.
make sense to you?
Yeah, so with technology, number one, we got more access. And so
Right.
that's why you see the Invest Fest, the Earn Your Leisure. That's why you see all of these, big brands. I mean, even myself, like,
Mhm.
financial influencers.
Mhm.
Who knew that people wanted to learn about finance?
Mhm.
People want to talk about money, especially black people.
Mhm.
At one point in time, there was only the only kind of entertainment there was rappers and singers and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Now you got financial
It's cool. It's
influencers.
cool. It's cool to talk about it now.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's really
cool.
what
It's
it is.
cool to
Yeah.
talk about money and business now.
Right.
So like the landscape has totally changed.
Yeah.
So that was first, right? But then of course now we have technology on top of that, where the mainstream person can get access to the stock market with like apps like Robinhood and different kind of trading apps. And then
Right.
of course we now have been able to create community. So
Mhm.
back in the day, you had like the Rockefellers and the Waltons, they would get together and create these groups that they call masterminds,
Mhm.
right? Now you see all these black people getting together in masterminds, and this is how we do it, right?
Mhm.
But by having Zoom, we can do it electronically. You can
Mhm.
meet 3 times a week. You don't even have to go fly to the same city anymore. But
Yeah.
it's always great, right? People come and fly
Yeah.
in and out of Atlanta all the time. So yeah, I think technology is only number one. It's going to help us speed up our capacity when it comes to investing. And then the people that don't adapt it or adopt to it or learn it, unfortunately, will be left behind.
Yeah, speaking of left behind, I think when we were talking about earlier with AI, it's a lot of things that we're like when I not even before like AI or technology, like I just remember like having conversations, and you can just through that conversation you could tell that people don't like change.
Mm.
And it's like as you get older, it's like a lot of people when you ask them questions, "Oh, you know about this?" They don't be knowing nothing about it, and
I'd be so
I
shocked.
yeah, shocked about it. Like you don't even want to know or like want to
Yeah,
learn.
I'd be so shocked. Like even when I say things like when InvestFest, it's like this is the biggest financial
Yeah,
conference for Black people in the world. You never heard of InvestFest? No. You never heard of Earn Your Leisure? No.
no,
Like,
what?
wow.
Like what are you doing?
And it just shows me though that like we have so much more work to do.
Yeah,
And so like for new people that's coming into this space of online teaching, coaching, whatever, you might have this thought like, oh, well, people are already doing this. I actually saw somebody post today that said, well, if everybody is a teacher, who's a student?
who's learning?
Who's learning? We're
Yeah,
all learning.
yeah,
I'm a teacher in my field,
yeah.
but you can teach me about this podcasting.
Right.
I can't teach you about roofing. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
do saying.
But I might be able to teach you about business. So, each one teach some, and
Yeah.
that's really how we combine human and technology and continue to build.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you said earlier, like even like having stuff like InvestFest is different, man. It's like I don't necessarily feel like I'm obviously I don't feel like I'm learning, but when I go there, it's like it's fun though. Like it's like to be able to just to meet different people, even like when you're following so many people on social media, you be able to see them in person and all in one room and being able to just to watch their journey and hear thoughts back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? Ask questions. Shoot, I think I got like maybe like 6 people there they get to do interviews from just walking
Right.
around, just meeting
Just from
people.
being in
Like
the room. So
yeah,
dope.
so it's just just taking advantage of that. People ask me all the time like, how do you build or how do you get these people to come on your podcast? Shoot, I ask like
Just
everybody
ask.
else. Yeah, like ask. But what I do tell them, like if you're going to ask people to come on your podcast, I'll say you definitely got to work on having a catalog, because majority of the time they might say yes, but the first thing they're gonna do is go see how it look.
Yeah.
You know, how it look,
Who's on there?
who's on there, and how fast it's gonna come out.
Right.
Like those are the top 3 things if you can have a fast turnaround.
Yeah.
If you got a catalog where they can go back and look, majority of the time they gonna pull up.
Right.
And it's like we all trying to like just like you want them on your show, they want camera time. They want,
Right.
So it's like that's how you gotta look at it. So I definitely think that's very, very, very important.
Yeah, I'll say this. So for me, especially coming up in the inner city environment, right? At the time where I graduated high school, most of the people that were in my town were going to like the gangs were very big, right? And so that was an environment that I wanted to be in. And so I had to figure out like, well, where are my people? These are my people. Like they're cool, but this ain't what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So I used to go to conferences back then, and there weren't, at that time, I'm 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm traveling across country to go to different conferences, whether it's Vegas, whether it's Dallas, right? But it puts you in environments with other people like you. And it's so funny because even some people, like I remember years ago, so there's a conference called FinCon. And so like a lot of the financial influencers that you see now, we were all attending this FinCon event, which is hosted by white people years ago. But it's so good to see everybody that, we're just naturally curious, commit to their passion, and then, really, really been able to make an impact over the years. It's been super dope.
Well, that is dope.
Yeah.
You brought up community. I think that's like one of the biggest things that people are trying to do right now. Something I've been fortunate to being able to try to curate, and not necessarily just the pod, but like using other stuff. Like I'm just now starting to get into SKOOL platform.
You got a school group?
And learning that if you're trying to make money from a community is where you need to start it off. So in your opinion, like how what's your thoughts on building community, and how do you build community within your brand?
Yeah, so community is super important, right? I say community is currency. Back in the day, we used to, we came from tribes, right? So we're like a tribal people. That's how we learn. That's how we love. That's, that is in our DNA. But mainstream society and, capitalism wants us to be separate. So it's super important for us to find community where you can, be amongst like-minded people, because number one is going to be people that hold you accountable, people that can pull you up, people that might have a resource that you need, right? Might have a connection that you need. So yeah, community is everything. So for me, community is the base of my business, right? So with the podcast, we have a Rich Friends community, which is free. And so that free offer is like, hey, everybody come in, let's gather, let's learn the newsletter. But then you offer more value. But I'm actually launching a school program too. So the way that looks is your community, and then maybe you offer like a course, so like $1,000 course to kind of test things out. But really, I've always been into high ticket because high ticket for me, it gives me the people that I want to work with, right? But you got to know your audience, you got to know what you're selling and the value. But if you can help somebody 10x their investment, it's a worthy investment for them to make. So if somebody spends $1,000 with you and you can help them make 10,000, learn 10,000, or save 10,000, then it was worth it. And I think that they would say that too. So yeah, that's kind of the ladder. And the reason that you need a community, whether it's paid or free, is that that's always going to be your cheer. They're going to be your cheerleaders. They're going to be your reason to stay committed to the mission. And they're also going to be your pool of potential clients.
Speaking of tickets, how do you determine whether or not you have the right audience to do high ticket sales?
Whether you have the right audience?
Yes.
Well, I don't think it's about, it don't matter what you have, because you can always get what you want, right? So first of all, you have to decide what you want, and if you want to be high ticket, you want to be premium, you make that decision in your mind first. And then you operate and move in that way. And so if you're premium and you're saying, okay, well, I serve a premium audience, what does a premium experience look like? What does a premium experience feel like? And how do I give that to people? And you just kind of reverse engineer, you reverse engineer into what that looks like. So for me, my highest ticket was like $35,000. But if I can't help you make, save, or invest $35,000, it probably don't make sense for you
to do it.
to be in this program. You might need to be in my $10,000 program, or you might need to just start at free.
Yeah.
You know,
Just get an ebook.
you need to just get an ebook.
Yeah.
You need to get an ebook. You need to get some dedication. You need to get a schedule. You need to get a budget. Then you need to start investing, right? You need to get some of this free game first. Maybe find you a side hustle, get your income, get your mindset right. Come in here, get some love so that you can, build that desire. But then when you ready, we got you.
I got you. How you feel about mentorship though, as far as like just period, but also high paying mentorship?
Paying for it?
Yeah, paying for it. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta pay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you gotta pay, right? And so this the thing people don't understand is you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay with time, right?
Yeah.
So whether you spinning your wheels trying to figure it out on your own, you're gonna pay with money. Whether you decide to go to school, whether you decide to go to college, whether you decide to buy the course, right? I am grateful for mentorship because, like I said, when I was working on Wall Street and I'm like super eager to learn and grow, I felt like charity work. You know what I'm saying? Like these women treated me like I'm some charity job.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm a professional just like
Just
you.
like you are, yeah.
I'm just on a come up, but they didn't look at me with the same respect. So I'm grateful for mentors that I can pay that will, allow me to borrow a little bit of their belief. Sometimes that might be all you need.
Yeah.
People think that mentors are supposed to just change your life, but really it's all about what you do with that information. Because few things that a mentor is going to do is they're going to give you the belief. They're going to they should give you the roadmap.
For sure.
Right. And then they should also show you how to acquire clients and create business. And once you have that information on me, execution on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. Well, we can start with your weekly magazine. I want to know what got you started in that. What got you started in that, and then what's your plans for it in the future?
Yes, man. So I want to build a $1 billion media company. This is my first time saying that out loud to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I want to build a $1 billion media company. I just see, I'm not into watching TV and stuff because everything is just so toxic. I feel like a lot of people are programmed and pushing messages that are, just trash. So I want to have a network. So I have my future vision is Black Wealth Media Group to be a network where we push out positive Black media, whether that's in a form of comedy, religion, financial education, business, and entrepreneurship. So I want to have a network of different type of shows where, people can come learn and be fed something positive, kind of like OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Yeah.
Yes. So with the podcast, I think I mentioned earlier, I just had access to all these dope entrepreneurs. And, I felt like it was my duty to document our growth, right? To document the experience, to document the things that we're doing. Because if you don't get the information out and it stays with you, you're not properly shepherding what God has given you, right? And so with the internet, kind of being here forever, like this is the way we cement our legacy and continue to teach people forever. So on Black Wealth Weekly, we interview high achieving entrepreneurs, professionals, and investors so that we can share the ways that they're building to wealth. And hopefully people can find inspiration to find their way to wealth.
You feel like do you feel like the magazine industry is like going down?
Well, yeah, it's totally dead, but that's why I wanted to do it.
Okay, no, I'm with you. That's why
that's why I wanted to do it. Yeah, it's it's media at the end of the day.
I think it was a great idea. For one, it's a different type of content. For
it's
one,
different.
Even to have the paper copy, like just to be able to have that, that's a digital product. But two, it's different.
You can also order it printed.
Printed, yeah.
So not only is it a digital product, but it's also a novelty product, right? So when we highlight, like, let's say, like, I'm gonna have some billionaires on the cover soon, right? In 2026, that's the goal. But let's just say I have you on the cover, and you have clients or you have potential clients. You can order 100 magazines and send this out to your clients. And now it's not just a digital product, but it's also a novelty. It can sit on your table, forever. So I really like the idea of magazine, and I got to give a shout out to my aunt Tanisha of Impact Magazine. She
shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Impact Magazine. She's been in Atlanta years ago doing stuff, and also in New Jersey. But I watched her with her magazine for the last 20 years. This is what she's been doing for 20 years. So she helped me launch the magazine. I think we started about 3 years ago now. And
How were you balancing it though? The magazine, consulting,
business.
and then also family time.
Yeah, balance is tricky. Because for me, I feel like if you're balancing is like standing still,
Mm,
you know? Like if you have a pendulum or if you have a scale, you come to balance when it's still.
mm,
This is not my season of stillness. So balance looks like for me, just being very intentional with my time, very intentional with my day, very intentional with my kids and my family, very intentional when I have my business time, right? So for me, balance looks like organized chaos.
yeah.
To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, putting people in place, empowering people. Like I said, we're hiring interns. I have some VAs that are on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So balance looks like delegation. Finding the right people that can help you. I love the book Who Not How because it
Wow.
talks about you know um who do you need to get what you want, right? And so because I have this vision of $100 million billion company, like am I doing the things that are going to get me there? Because charging $1,000 for taxes is not going to do it,
Mm,
right? So if the vision is bigger, who do I need to help me implement? Who do I need to help me think and dream bigger? And then what do those systems look like?
for sure. In your opinion, what does discipline look like in wealth building?
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said in wealth building.
Mm,
Because I've been good with that. I've been
yeah,
good with discipline when it comes to wealth building, but discipline in my own life, I'm working on it. I ain't gonna
yeah.
lie. But yeah, discipline in wealth building looks like just setting the plan, sticking to it, and just letting it be out of sight, out of mind.
Mm,
For me, I had this mantra that having my bills on auto pay is like self-care.
mm, right.
I look at paying my bills as a form of self-care. Like
Mm,
I don't look at my bills as like, oh my God, I gotta go. I gotta pay this
get paid.
bill. But by the grace of God, I get to pay this bill. I
Mm-hmm.
get to invest in myself. And so I treat my
Mm-hmm.
bills just like I treat my investments just like I treat my bills.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to building wealth, number one, I take responsibility for
Mm-hmm.
myself, for my kids. Listen, I was telling my friends yesterday, they were trying to pay my son. And they're like, oh, well, Shaniqua, what's your Cash App? I'm like, no, he got his own Cash App.
Mm,
My son got his own Cash App. He has his own bank account. He has his own investment accounts. He has his own retirement accounts,
mm,
his own life insurance policies. He's 10 years old.
mm,
And guess what? He know that he got this stuff. So he's
mm-hmm.
like,
So he's
well,
educated and everything. He knows what's up. Yeah.
he's learning,
Yeah.
but he's like, well, I got this money over here. Okay, but he's like, well, can I just take some money out of that? No,
Mm,
no, you cannot. You want to do something, you need to go earn some more money.
right.
So yeah, well, discipline and wealth building looks like number one, setting up the buckets, right? Setting up the goals, setting up the vehicles, because I've had my nonprofit and this idea in my mind for 5 years. But I'm just now using it, right? And so Bishop T.D. Jakes said years ago, I saw him speak, and it really changed my life in the way that I do things. Because we're not building for today. Like you might have this idea for a nonprofit or for real estate or for whatever, but do you have the vehicles so that when God blesses you, it can too be blessed,
Mm,
right? So you have the trust, you have the investment accounts, you have the buckets, you have these vehicles, you have your college savings account, right? What the wealthy do is they put names on their accounts,
mm,
right? So you have your bills account.
mm-hmm.
We don't like the bills,
Mm-hmm.
but you gonna have your vacation account. I know I'm going to Bali next year, so I'm happily
You
putting
gotta be
money
able
into
to,
this
yeah.
Bali account, right? Or I have my let's just say you have your freedom account. So if we start to change the way that we look at spending money, investing money, and putting it away, I think that's really the main discipline that we need when it comes to building wealth.
Do you feel like it's important to have financial advisement? And also, what are some red flags people that's looking into that? What
Looking
should
for
they
a financial
be,
advisor.
yeah. What should they be looking out for?
Yeah. So when it comes, I believe that wealth building is a team sport. So yes, you need a financial advisor. You need to know an attorney. You need to know investors. You need to know other people like you that are investing. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to have these conversations about, well, what are you doing? How much do you make? How much are you making over there? I remember working in corporate, ain't nobody want to talk about how much they were making.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, if we don't know, then how do we know what
Mm-hmm.
to ask for? So I think that I definitely think you need to hire professionals. And you can literally start at a level of like $50 a month. It doesn't have like you don't have to have a whole lot of money to work with a financial professional because people like me, are will happily teach you, right? We want to help. We want to see the person start off with $50 investing and then they grow into investing $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's really the journey that financial advisor helps you create is like you don't know what that picture looks like, but you have this goal in mind. So let's put some real milestones to it and then let's gradually get there. But yeah, no, you definitely need to hire somebody, whether it's an advisor, a tax person, an attorney, like I mentioned, or even just a financial coach. Like you can start off with just a budgeting coach to get you started. And I will also say this, get free consultations from them all.
Mm-hmm.
Test their chin a little bit, see if they are speaking your language or not. Just because the person might be a little smarter than you doesn't mean that that's the person that you have to work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like go and talk to several people and fact check. See if you got some advice from one advisor and you take it to the next advisor to test their chin and see what their opinion of it is. This is nothing but education for you. So, just like people say, date them all. I say, try them all, right? Try them all. You need them all.
You when it comes to like trying to stay educated, I know you said you got the podcast, so you got people come over if you want to learn something. But how do you stay educated in your own space?
Oh man, I've been investing in mentors for years. Yeah. So mentorship has been key for me because I'm not that big of a reader. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they say hide it. If you want to hide something from black people, put it in the book.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's real.
I'm not that big of a reader. So for me, the way that I learn best is from being able to be with the person, ask them questions, whether it's on Zoom or whatever. But definitely hire mentors, being able to work one-on-one with somebody or in a group environment to get the information so that I can implement, ask questions, get my clarity, and then execute. Yeah.
I try to use like platforms like this. We talk about early leisure. I forgot the guy's name. What's the white guy name that's always giving financial advice?
Who?
I forgot his name's a white guy. It's him and I can't remember his name, but it's him and the black girl.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. So things like that. My mom be on my head about a lot of stuff too, so I try to use that as well. But just finding different ways to kind of
digest information.
Yeah, digest information because everybody teach it differently. I don't think that everybody is for everybody. You got to find somebody that you really can lock in with and trust their information.
Exactly. And even somebody that you want to hear from. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Dave Ramsey I don't think Dave Ramsey is for black people, right? Because right now we are behind. We playing a catch-up game.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey is all about get to zero debt.
Yeah.
No, these white people, that's because he's been privileged for generations. So they have been able to build assets and build life insurance policy and build wealth that they can pass down. Whether he started, he might say he started from the bottom and, first generation or whatever, but other nationalities and races are way far ahead of us. So we can't take, you can't take information from the master when he just wants you to stay a slave. Yeah.
That's a good one. How that's something I already think about too. How is that you moved to Atlanta? How has Atlanta changed with your business or really, helped your business?
Yeah.
Since you moved down here?
Yeah, it's so crazy because I moved to Atlanta not for Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta because my mom had moved here. My aunt was already living here with her magazine. She was very successful with that and she loved it. And then my mom moved here and then I got pregnant. And so when I got pregnant, I got to come down here. I got to be with my family. I got to be with my mom. It's time to start my family, hunker down. So I actually came here to start my family. I just so happened to be an entrepreneur and, by the grace of God, have been able to find my tribe, right? Like that's what they call it, find your tribe. But Atlanta has been, there's no place like Atlanta.
Yeah,
there's no place like Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like people will look at me and say like, girl, Atlanta was the best thing you could have did for yourself. But it really wasn't something that I did intentionally. And like for business or for growth, I really did it for my family because what I did know was that I didn't want to raise my kids in the North. I feel like schools in the North teach Black people how to like stay in line, right? Because white people, and I definitely don't want to make this about race or anything, but because the North is more, controlled by white people, by Jews, we're kind of taught to stay in line. But here in the South, in Atlanta, you've got black doctors. Had I had one black doctor in my life that I knew or
Would
saw,
stay with that.
I probably would have been a doctor, right? So representation is super important. So, me deciding to move here was really for my kids, for family. I just knew it would be a better place to raise my children.
Speaking of you moving to Atlanta, I don't really think that Atlanta is for everybody though.
Okay.
I do feel like this is a place of opportunity, but if you really don't understand Atlanta, it's going to be a culture shock, and you're going to hate it. And you're gonna say I just know a lot of people that be like, no, don't move down here. Well, I know people that live here telling people
don't move
down here.
We full, baby.
But yeah, you full for sure. But it's also like I feel like what's making Atlanta change right now, because I do feel like we're going through like a change right now. Is this?
Are you from here?
I'm from here. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So only way I say that is because I feel like it is a lot of people that's here that's not from here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How does it feel for you to be from here? And I'm sure you've seen how, people come here and just turn up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But like from what I hear, it's tougher for people that are from here to kind of get in that groove.
I think it's the mindset. Like I think that they're coming down here with the wrong intention. I don't think they're really coming down here on the business aspect. They're looking at social media and everybody's is a celebrity down here. They're not really coming down here with the mindset to really grow and mature down here. It's like they want to get rich quick.
You gotta imagine,
Kim, you go open the door. You good.
You gotta imagine what people see when they think of Atlanta.
Right.
Housewives of Atlanta,
Yeah.
rap, entertainment. They don't really see the real business, right? They don't see the black wealth. And so that's exactly why I created my platform, because we ain't doing none of that craziness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think Atlanta is a place that you can really grow your business at. I do feel like it's a lot of opportunity.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of people that like we talk about that you can meet. If you just really give it a chance, you gotta be in the right circles though. I believe that if you're not in the right circles, you will get discouraged down here.
Yeah.
Very, very quick.
It's funny. It's funny because I don't know. It chose me for real,
Yeah.
But I do think that you have to be intentional about, I say it all the time. You can come to Atlanta and get and be whoever you want to be. You can get whatever you want. You can have whatever you want to have because it's the land of opportunity. But if you come down here and you don't know what you want, you're going to get got.
For sure. You definitely gonna get got. Yeah, you definitely gonna get got. What's one money habit that you believe every person should start or should have?
Yeah. So I think that everybody should have 6 figures in the bank, right? I consider this a little FU money. And I started this when I started working my first job, right? And it's it sounds far-fetched, right? Some people haven't made, I think the average salary in America is about $50,000. But imagine this, if you make $50,000 and you're paying 10% in taxes, then you're paying $5,000 a year, right? If you work with a tax strategist that can help you stop paying $5,000 a year in taxes and you start to invest that $5,000, I mean, if you invest $5,000 and turn in $10,000 in 1 year, you've made 100% profit, right? So now you have $10,000, but then the next year you also have that $5,000 that you've saved. So now you're at 15, and then let's say you get a refund check, and that's another $5,000. Now you're at 20,000. 20,000 growing at 20% is a whole lot more than 5,000 growing at 20%. So really it's just figuring out the ways, figuring out how money works. You know what I'm saying? Albert Einstein says that compound interest is one of the wonders of the world. We're so used to being on the paying side of compound interest. We got to learn how we can get interest to work in our favor. So that's what I teach in my community. So I have a community where I teach people how to be and live tax-free. So whether you work a job, whether you have a business, I think it's super important to learn how to navigate your taxes because it also is going to help you navigate your money. What's up, family? I'm Dr. Shaniqua Nicole. Thank you so much for watching this episode, but we wanted to take a quick break because I have something good for you. Everything that you need to build wealth, you can find at blackwealthlive.com. Every single month, we host a live mastermind where you can learn from 6, 7, and 8 figure entrepreneurs all my rich friends. So make sure you guys head to blackwealthlive.com, come into the free community, and get the ebook that's going to help you go from 0 to 6 figures in the next 3 years. We'll see you there.
In your opinion, what is the difference between being rich and wealthy?
Yeah, so I believe that two things, right? So I have two meanings for rich, but one, rich is just money,
Yeah.
right? So you can have money, you can, do all the things, buy all the things. But I also look at rich, I wish we would look at rich as being righteous, right?
Mhm.
So, the goal is to get rich so that you can live righteously and become wealthy. All right. And so wealthy to me looks like if I want to, I have options. If I want to get up and work, I get up and work. Wealthy to me looks like, having money that comes in, whether I'm asleep, whether I'm here today, whether something happens to me tomorrow. Wealthy looks like my family is taken care of, whether I participate in that or not. So wealthy is having systems in place that generate income, that continues to invest and compound, for generations.
In your opinion, I'm talking about emotional intelligence when it comes to handling wealth.
Mm.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I love that because really that's like the first thing, your mindset is everything. So emotional intelligence when it comes to money or building wealth, that's really the first thing that you have to master.
Mhm.
So one exercise that I make people do when we first start to work together is called a dream life.
Mhm.
And so, what this does is it helps you dream a bit. What I've learned is that, a lot of people, they go to work, they pay bills, and they're just in this, stuck in this cycle, and they stop losing the opportunity to dream.
Mm.
So what I do this activity called your dream life. I have a dream life calculator where we sit down, we look at what is the dream house that you want to live in?
Mm.
What does the neighborhood look like? How much
Mm.
does that house cost? How much is your mortgage payment on that house?
Mm.
What does it look like monthly to pay the taxes on this kind of property? And then we literally build out a budget for our dream life. What's your dream car? Okay, you want a G-Wagon. All right, cool. That's $2,000 a month. Insurances, $800 a
Yeah.
month. So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. But you have to first wrap your mind
Behind
around
that.
being able to spend
$3,000.
$3,500 on a car.
Yeah.
Most people, the average American might make $3,500 a year. So I think mindset is super important. So, that dream life experience that I take people through first helps you dream, open up what the future can look like. And then once we have that, it's like, all right, cool. So this is what you said you want.
Mhm.
Let's do it. This is what we got to do it. Now it's time to get to work and build it.
How do you protect your own peace and energy when it comes to helping and serving other people, though?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think I told you before, and I'm coming out of this, right? Because I feel like the knowledge that I have, everybody deserves it. So typically wealthy people in the past, right? Only wealthy people had access to the information and knowledge that, you know, that of like a financial advisor, of an accountant, things like that. In these days, we have the internet, we have people like me that want to help and want to work. But I found myself where I told you I just had the high ticket. So if you can't pay me $35,000, then it really is like,
pointless,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I don't really kind of want to work with you. But that's because that was my capacity. You know what I'm saying? That was me protecting my peace, right? So when you're in business, you have to you get to build a business around what peace looks like, right? And so if you have a business model that works for your life, like, okay, at 35,000, if you only need to make $100,000, you get 3 clients for the year. You can serve the hell out of 3 clients versus charging $1,000, and now you need 1,000 clients, right, to make that same 100,000. So you have to decide at what level you want to serve and then charge accordingly. Yeah.
I feel you on that.
But like I said, this next season for me, I do want to have more impact. So that's why now I'm opening my group to everybody, because I think everybody deserves access to this information. And we can't hoard it from people that maybe can't afford it. So that's why you have the nonprofit where you can offer free resources. So you just get creative and figure out how to bring everybody along on the journey.
Well, let me ask you, how did you feel, or when did you know that you was really like moving in your purpose, though?
I just talk to God about it every day. This is an everyday.
Mhm.
This is an everyday task. Like, because sometimes you can get caught up in the money. You
Mhm.
can get caught up in maybe the success or fame, or people will get caught up in, goals that were put on you by other people. Or
Mhm.
you might, look around and say, well, dang, this person just did this and I know I could do that, so like,
Mhm.
sometimes things are put on us externally. So I literally take my questions to God and I
Mm.
be like, Lord, give me a sign that this is for me. Give me a sign that this is
Mm.
from you and for me. And so I just move in that knowing
Yeah.
and, try and get still and hear from him.
All right. Before we turn to another segment, if you can get some advice, people, anybody that's we talked about moving to Atlanta, but just coming down here trying to find their purpose, or just trying to find their tribe. Like, what would you, if you had to get some advice, what would you say?
For somebody that's trying to find a tribe, I would say get used to being uncomfortable. I find that even in dating, like I was just, we had this conversation yesterday about dating, and the girls are like, I'm not dating, like,
Right.
and I'm like, well, how are successful women dating in 2025,
And
right?
majority say
Like,
they not.
most
Yeah.
of them are not,
Yeah.
right? They've gotten to the point where they've gotten so scared to even let somebody in that they're just totally not dating. So we just want to live in our peace. We just want to be comfortable. But comfort is not where transformation happens. Comfort is not where you grow, right? Like a butterfly literally has to go from being a caterpillar into a liquid. So it has to be fully demolished, right? It totally changes form in order for it to turn into a butterfly,
Yeah.
right? So, if we take that same just thought process and understanding that we got to be uncomfortable, you got to shed layers. Sometimes you got to shed people. I don't know if I told you, but I've literally, listen, if it's the marriage, if it's the best friend, if it's family, whatever it is, if God tells me that this is what needs to go, I got to listen to God every time because, sometimes I think that, we put things on these pedestals and we believe that, they are, it becomes like our pinnacle or becomes our protection. And you really got to look to God for everything.
I definitely think that.
Yeah.
One thing we do on this show, we do highlight entrepreneurs, which we did earlier with you and taxes, and also with your weekly magazine. But another thing we do, we talk about hot spots and stuff like that. As far as in Atlanta, just giving shout outs to anything as far as like you would like to recommend, whether it's a restaurant or a business or anything that you've been to, if you had a good time at that you'd like to promote or put out there.
So a business or restaurant. Yeah. So I would like to give a shout out to my engineers down at the Success Center in Atlanta. They have an amazing studio. They are called, I think it's just called the Success Center.
Okay.
It's a event space, so you can go there. We host our live podcast there. They do the live switching with the podcast, so they have all the cameras and stuff. They made it really easy and simple for me to just come in, sit down, be me, interview my guests. So definitely shout out to Dave at the Success Center. It's called the Collective Success Center. That's what it's called. But did you want something like more fun?
No, that's whatever's on your mind.
Yeah,
You got a restaurant?
Business. Do I have a restaurant? So my friend owns a restaurant. It's called Seafood Social.
Okay.
So Seafood Social, y'all, shout out to Cash.
We'll make sure we put it about
Yeah. We'll make sure we put a description down there. Y'all make sure y'all tell them Money Maven sent y'all, and you make sure you send me my check.
Got you. Well, we can pretty much we can end it here.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you for coming. I do have a gift for you. Matter of fact.
Oh, you got a gift for me.
Can you bring what's on the kitchen table in here?
I have a gift for you too.
Oh yeah.
So I have ABCs for Rich Kids. This is the son that my this is a book that my son wrote.
Okay.
It's called ABCs for Rich Kids. I know you don't have children, but I know you have a child that you love. And
Definitely
so
do.
we literally go from A to Z with different financial terms to help not really just kids, because listen, we got kitty tax in here. You know what kitty tax is?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay, cool. Well, somebody looked at the book yesterday and was like, kitty tax, what is that? Let me read it.
You gotta do your homework on it.
So
Right.
it's not only an educational book for children, but it's something that you can sit and talk to your family about, where you can learn different topics on financial literacy. And if you guys want to find this book, you can go to abcsforrichkids.com or on Amazon. It's an Amazon bestseller. So this is for you.
Make sure y'all check it out, man. ABCs for rich kids, man. Please make sure y'all. Bryson Nicholas. Make sure y'all shout him out and definitely support him. Is he selling this online?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am. So his website is iambrycenicholas.com. Or you can go to ABCs for Rich Kids and it'll take you directly there.
Oh, okay. Yes, man. You calling me right here? Make sure y'all check it out, man. Y'all heard it. Get your copy.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, wanted to bring you just a gift just for saying thank you for coming.
Gifts are my love language.
You know how come on, you good? Come on. Just come. They're not
She
gonna
said
see
no.
you. I'll block it out. I'll block it out. I will. I get up.
Look, this her getting on the camera again. Oh my gosh!
Thank you.
I love roses.
I know how difficult. I know I stay kind of far. You know, people who not from Atlanta, they be like, "You say it's too far, don't you?" But I appreciate you coming. I know I take your time out. I was happy to we was able to first meet at Invest Fest. So I was blessed enough to meet you there. And here we go. We on the couch, man. Anything possible.
Anything is possible. Listen, I want to give a shout out to you for your consistency and what you're doing. And not only did we meet at Invest Fest, but we was behind the scenes at Invest Fest. So that's kind of a big deal.
That's
you know
a big deal. Yeah,
that's kind of a big deal.
I had you know what's crazy about that? So I was going to Invest quick story. I was going to Invest Fest anyway. My sister does makeup, and she was in Invest Fest as well. She was one of the makeup artists that was upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a couple other people that I'm pretty cool with that does podcasting as well. They knew I was coming. I just had a regular ticket. I also had a regular ticket.
Listen.
They told me, they was like, if you want to, they gave me a pass to go to Friday night.
Yeah.
And then it was I had
So you got the
access,
VIP
so I
pass
could
and
move
all
around.
access.
And then kind of found out my sister was up there, so I was like, well, she didn't tell me. I just happened to walk up there and see you. I'm like, you working today? And she lived here. I'm like, it's crazy. You didn't tell me. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now listen, you got to serve your way to the top.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really what wealth is all about. You know, if I had to give my definition of what Black wealth looks like, it looks like us all serving at our highest capacity, and you know, just giving the information, because like I said, information on me, execution on you.
Always.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all, we appreciate y'all for watching the best show in Atlanta. I'm your host, Nigel Armani. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you also follow her on all social media platforms.
Oh, yeah.
We pin that up at the bottom of the description. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for watching. Peace. All right, y'all. We just wrapped up another episode on the Unspoken Atlanta podcast with Shaniqua Nicole. Make sure you check it out. Subscribe to the Patreon, and also look us up on YouTube. What you got?
Absolutely. What's up, family? I'm Dr. Shaniqua Nicole. Listen, we dropped so much game on how you can build wealth. You can go from 0 to 6 figures in the next 3 years. I'm Dr. Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven. You can follow me on Instagram at Money Maven Club. We gave out free ebook. I invited y'all to come and learn from my millionaire mentors. Head to blackwealthlive.com and we'll see you there.
Definitely check out her weekly magazine as well. Definitely do that. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all.
Let's do it.